Solutions, homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice. And by the 2013 Honda Civic, Canada's best-selling car 15 years in a row. Honda, the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
In the City weekend, and the Blue Jays are having a lot of fun. They've won 10 straight, looking for a franchise tying 11 straight today. And Jack, this team is all about chemistry right now.
Well, when things are going well, it brings the team together, and they're really enjoying this time right now.
Look at some of the stars during the streak. Adam Lynch hit nearly 360 during the 10 games. How about Munenori Kawasaki hitting 333 with an OPS of 1.154? Burley's won 2 games. Brett Cecil's been ridiculous out of the bullpen. 6 2/3 during the stretch without allowing an earned run. Now it's time to take a look at the Orioles lineup, brought to you by Quaker State. Real, durable oral. The Orioles scored 2 runs on 7 hits yesterday. In fact, out-hit the Blue Jays, but they find themselves on the wrong side of a 4-2 score. Nate McLeod, top of the order, has a 6-game hit streak. He's at 360 over that hit streak, and he's done a good job of setting the table for the middle of the order. A little bit down in the order, Chris Dickerson gets to start today as the DH because of his numbers against Josh Johnson. They will play in the National League, and Dickerson is 4 for 7 with a good OPS against the Blue Jays right-hander Josh Johnson, who's looking for his first win in a Blue Jays uniform.
Yeah, he's making his 8th start of the season, struck out a season-high 10 hitters his last time out, and Josh has pitched a lot better since he's coming off the DL. 7.1 shutout innings in his last start. He needs to pitch fastballs in early in the game, establish that fastball in, and that'll open up the outer part of the plate for his breaking ball, which is a good slider. And good percentage of those strikeouts in his last start were from the slider.
Take a look at the defense behind Josh and Cabrera, Rasmus, and Bautista in the outfield. The roof is wide open. The sun could be a factor here this afternoon. As Sturis makes his 16th start at third base. Kawasaki, Bonifacio up the middle, ends at first base, and Aaron Seavey's behind the plate. Meister Asteris has really played well of late, especially at third base. He's showing a lot of range, a lot of real tough plays he's handled easily. And there's the first pitch of the ball game, and Nate McLeod extends his hit streak to 7 straight. Second time in this series he's hit the first pitch of the ball game for a base hit.
Yeah, 2 days in a row, first pitch fastball that he's ready to swing at. Pulls the ball, same result, right through the hole on the right side.
So Josh Johnson will work out of the stretch right away. And you got to keep your eye on Nate McLeod. He has 24 steals. He was caught stealing in the 8th inning by Darren Oliver. McLeod went on first movement. Manny Machado fouls the first pitch off. Machado has hit in 27 of his 31 road games this season. In fact, he has 8 3-hit games on the road for the Orioles, and he's been a tough out for the Blue Jays. Upstairs, a ball on the strike. 29 degrees on a gorgeous day. This is the final game of the homestand. Blue Jays trying to sweep their 3rd consecutive series. Here's the 1-1 to Machado. First we'll check in on Nate McLeod. Blue Jays have not swept 3 consecutive series since '98. That's hard to do, Jack. Beat a team for 3 straight games and 3 in a row.
Well, you usually run into one pitcher who's red hot and throws a great game, but
Machado lines this ball down the right field line. That is a foul ball. A matter of inches, and the Blue Jays have been getting a lot of breaks in that regard.
Yeah, that was a little break right there for Josh Johnson. And as we watch, I mentioned it earlier, during this first part of the game, it's very important that Josh come inside to these right-handers. He is making some great pitches away, and he's been hurt early in the year with making great pitches and getting hammered down and away because he doesn't come off the plate inside. He's got to keep him honest in order to get that outer half wide open.
Blue Jays starters have done a great job of giving the offense the ball game without allowing runs. The Blue Jays have outscored their opponents 10-0 in the last 4 games in the first inning. Good job by Aaron Seavey. Machado's going to argue the ball hit the ground, and now they're going to have a look at the baseball. Josh Johnson better rub it clean before he gives it to the umpire. And home plate umpire Doug Eddings says no dirt on that, and here comes Buck Showalter. And now Eddings is going to show Buck the baseball, and he says, well, have a look at the baseball. Now Buck's going to want the explanation. Well, Eddings quickly got the baseball from Josh Johnson and looked to see if there was any scuff marks on it, which would indicate the ball hit the dirt.
Well, Buck is really kind of bringing on the Earl Weaver tradition of coming out and making his point known to the umpires early. I think he's doing that. Well, first of all, he believes in what he's arguing about.
You can see Aaron Seba caught it cleanly.
Yeah.
Yeah, Machado's out. Yeah. The ball was deflected. You can see the ball change directions. Machado foul tipped it. Aaron Seba caught it cleanly, and that's a strikeout.
Well, anyway, it was a slider down that Machado swung out of the zone. JP doing a great job of just hanging on to that ball. You really don't react to that. You just have to squeeze your hand and hope that the ball stays in your glove.
Nick Markakis is 0 for 7 in this series. Another throw to first. Just got a sense that the Orioles are going to try to force the issue offensively, see if they can't get something going. They came into this ball game winning 2 straight against the Tigers, and now they've lost 2 here to start this series. Johnson missed inside. Not many Oriole hitters have faced Josh Johnson in the past. Of course, he worked his entire career in the National League for the Florida Marlins. Markakis is one that's getting his first look at Josh Johnson. Nate McLouth with 24 steals at first, and Johnson did a good job with the slide step but missed the strike zone.
Well, the middle infielders are playing a double play depth right now. They're hoping for a ground ball. It'll be interesting, like you say, Buck, whether McLouth is off and running, trying to stay out of the double play. Maybe a hit and run.
Not going. Markakis takes a strike. You saw Nick Markakis is struggling of late, a .219 average. He's hit .288 in this ballpark for his career. This is his 66th game playing here at Rogers Center. Two balls and a strike. There's a line drive to left. This is trouble. Melky Cabrera will watch it bounce out of play over the wall. Markakis with an opposite field ground rule double. And the Orioles are threatening in the first. Blue Jays caught a break by that ball bouncing out.
Yeah, as the sun heats up this turf, the AstroTurf on the field, balls will tend to jump and bounce a lot higher. And they did catch a break right there because I think McLouth could have scored on that ball. Fastball up in the zone. And he's got to be careful with that, leaving it out over the plate.
So that'll bring to the plate Adam Jones with 2 in scoring position, just 1 out. The infield will play back. They'll trade a run for an out here. Jones was 0 for 4 yesterday. That snapped his personal 17-game hit streak against the Blue Jays. Jones having another fine start to his season, hitting nearly 300. He's had 17 RBIs in his last 13 games for the O's. Josh Johnson trying to pitch out of a jam in the first. Jones waves at that breaking ball down and away. Blue Jays have gotten Jones out of his comfort zone. He's chased a lot of bad pitches in this series.
He's been over aggressive here, not as patient as he was in the last series here in Rogers Center. And I think JP, the whole coaching staff, the pitching staff have kind of recognized that. And they're trying to see if he'll continue his aggressive behavior.
Reaches for another pitch that was borderline away. So Josh Johnson has the upper hand in this at bat. It's 1-2. He struck out Manny Machado first out of this inning after McLeod had a leadoff single. Then Marquez hit the ground rule double. Second and third, one out. Another defensive swing on a good pitch. Pattern is down and away, and it looks like Johnson feels comfortable working to that side of the plate to Jones.
Well, he's been comfortable with that side of the plate all this year, and I think he's got to throw a ball off the plate in just to keep him honest. You know, 1 ball, 2 strikes. You got a pitch you can waste. Just move him off the plate. Maybe move his feet a little bit so that that outer side of the plate is harder to reach.
Breaking ball, come on and miss. Johnson strikes out Jones.
Good, hard, crisp slider right there in a great location. He gets him chasing. Again, out of the zone. And that was a big out right now there. Now you have Chris Davis with a base open. And you've got to be careful with this guy. And they're just going to go ahead and put him on. I think this is a good move. You've got Matt Wieters on deck. And Wieters is going to have a harder time putting one in the seats.
I agree with this 100%. It's the first inning. Josh Johnson really hasn't gotten into the flow of the game. And to ask him to pitch around a dangerous hitter like Chris Davis, I think John Gibbons made the perfect move. You got a base open. Don't even put it in question. Put him on first.
There's nothing wrong with respecting certain hitters. This guy has proven that, along with Miguel Cabrera with Detroit, he is amongst the elite in the league right now, and you don't want him to ruin a day for you.
He's got 51 extra base hits in 75 games, and I think Josh Johnson's going to have a much more confident approach to Matt Wieters now, even though the bases are loaded. 2 outs. Orioles trying to break through early. Orioles were 1 for 6 with runners in scoring position yesterday in a 4-2 loss. Matt Wieters did not play yesterday. Inside off the plate. Wieters batting .233 for the season. He's got 2 grand slams for his career. Bases loaded, 2 outs. 2-0. Josh Johnson, as we mentioned, making his 6th start here at Rogers Center this season. He's pitched very well. His ERA is under 4 at Rogers Center. He needs a big out right here. Aaron Seavy's going to go out and chat things over. Did you like a trip like this early, maybe just to make sure you have a good thought on how you want to finish this at bat?
Well, I think it's just more important that he throws a strike here, and I think that's probably what JP wanted to make sure. Hey, you're behind the count. You got it. There's no room now. You've got to come at him, and don't be too fine, but try to hit the outer half. See if he'll roll one over.
2-0 pitch. Popped it up. Myceris Torres gives chase, but it's 3 rows back out of play. Came right after him, and Wieters was late on it. As we mentioned, Matt Wieters is another guy that's getting his first look at big Josh Johnson. Only 3 hitters in the lineup have faced Johnson in the past: Nate McLouth, J.J. Hardy, and Chris Dickerson. So he should use that to his advantage and try to get quick resolutions to these at-bats. Don't give him much information. 2 balls and a strike. Popped up over near the Blue Jays dugout. Aaron Sevilla shading his eyes, and Josh Johnson gets out of it. 2 strikeouts and a pop-up after pitching around the dangerous Chris Davis. The Orioles leave the bases loaded. It'll be Melky Cabrera when we come back. Then Jose Bautista, a 2-run home run yesterday, and Edwin Encarnacion. And his starters have done a good job shutting down the opponents early in the ball game. Top of the order, Melky Cabrera, Jose Bautista, Edwin Encarnacion, and Adam Lynn facing Freddie Garcia, somebody he's hit well in the past. So 7 for 11 with a couple of home runs and 4 RBIs. Lynn has a 12-game hit streak against the Orioles. And how about Munenori Kawasaki? Not only is he a fan favorite, he's swinging a hot bat. This homestand, he's 4 for 9 with a triple, his first big league home run, and 3 RBIs.
And they're going to be facing the right-hander, Freddie Garcia. Freddie's been around for a while. He's making his 10th start of the year. In his last start, he went 5.1 innings against Boston, took the loss. He's been having a little trouble lately, giving up a lot of home runs this year.
Freddie Garcia has given up 15 home runs in 50 2/3 innings, and that has been a problem, and obviously that's a concern when you're going up against the Blue Jays. Melky Cabrera takes the first pitch for a strike. Melky, batting .276 for the season, has hit 3 homers. Off-speed pitch, pulled to the right side. Flaherty gobbles it up. 1 down. Well, the Orioles have one of the best defensive teams in the American League. Nathan McLeod's a former All-Star. Adam Jones has 2 Gold Gloves to his credit. Nick Markakis is a Gold Glove. On the infield, Manny Machado has played every inning at third base for the Orioles. J.J. Hardy won a Gold Glove last year. Flaherty and Davis on the right side. Matt Reeder is the reigning Gold Glove catcher in the American League. Will handle Freddie Garcia. And J.J. Hardy, steady as a rock, he has played every game for the Orioles this year and committed 6 errors. Jose Bautista. Home run number 16 was a game winner for Bautista yesterday. Came in the 8th inning with 1 out. Freddie Garcia pitching for his 6th big league team. He was released by the Padres in spring training. And the Orioles signed him late in March, and he started out the season in AAA Norfolk. He made 5 starts for the AAA ball club, and he went 4-0. 1-2 to Bautista. Outside.
Well, what Freddie, during his great years when he was at his best, he would never throw 2 pitches the same speed. He can change speeds on his breaking ball. He can change speeds on his fastball. And he just always tries to keep you off balance. Throws a lot of breaking balls and off-speed pitches. Fastball maybe less than 50% of the time.
Yeah, he throws the kitchen sink, and you can never really predict what you might get. His career record against the Jays is 9-8. His 21st start. Bautista high, deep, but foul down the left side. Bautista is 7 for 14 against Freddie Garcia, and he's got a pair of home runs. Jose hit a home run to start this win streak, and his 2nd home run during the win streak came yesterday afternoon. Pops this one up. Manny Machado over near the seats, and that ball is out of play. Jose Bautista during the win streak has hit just over 150. But that's been the beauty of this win streak. Blue Jays haven't really pummeled their opponents.
No. They've done a lot of little things right to help themselves and help their cause.
Ripped but foul, and Bautista is starting to get the timing down against Garcia. Freddie Garcia pitched last year with the Yankees, made 17 starts for New York. Another foul back. Freddie Garcia signed as a non-drafted free agent with the Houston Astros in 1993. And then he became a part of a big trade in '98. He went from Houston to Seattle with Carlos Guillen and John Halama for the big unit, Randy Johnson. Ground ball off the end of the bat. Machado takes his time. Bautista is out. 2 down. Freddie Garcia, when he first came up, joined the ball club, he pitched pretty well. He can see he had a good ERA, and opponents hit just 2.27, but it's been a different story this month.
Yeah, that ERA has really climbed, and he's given up a lot more runs, the home run being the issue. But his changeup isn't what it used to be, and he's elevated that, and that's something to watch during the course of this game, is how many balls he throws up in the zone.
You mentioned the home run concern. He had a 4-homer game down in Houston against the Astros. This is really challenging for hitters because you really have to key down. He's not going to throw it by you, and you have to really be patient against him.
And he's a big man with a lot of arm movement, a lot of glove and legs and arms and everything kind of thrown at you, but the ball doesn't get there quite as fast as you think it's going to.
You mentioned Freddie Garcia. In 2001, he was 18-6 with a 3.05 ERA. That's a broken back base hit for Edwin Encarnacion. A 2-out single. First innings have been magic for the Blue Jays during this streak. They have scored in each of the last 4 first innings, and they've outscored their opponents 10-0 in those 4 games in the first.
No one more magical in the first than Adam Lind, who's led off a couple of the games recently with home runs and put his team in front right in the first inning.
Lind has collected base hits in 4 straight first inning at bats. 2 homers and 2 singles. And he has taken a lot of strikes during this hot streak. Lind batting .340. You mentioned he has a 12-game hit streak against the Orioles. During that streak, he's hit .477. Off Garcia. That's going to sneak into the outfield. Encarnacion goes first to third. Lind has hit in 5 straight first inning at bats.
Well, it knocks the ball right off of Freddie and ricochets between the shortstop and second baseman. Finds a hole out there. And all of a sudden, the Blue Jays have a little something cooking.
That's another thing they've done so well, is they never give up with 2 outs. They can come back and rally with 2 outs. They knocked the glove off Garcia. Back-to-back 2-out base hits, and now Colby Rasmus has a chance to put the Jays on the board first. Rasmus was 0 for 3 with a pair of strikeouts in yesterday's game. Outside. Josh Johnson, the Blue Jays starter, pitched out of trouble. He stranded the bases loaded in the top half of this inning. Foul back. Ball on the strike to the Blue Jays center fielder. Colby Rasmus has been a good clutch hitter most of the season for the Blue Jays. Rasmus has 13 homers and 36 RBIs. Upstairs, having a good look at Garcia. Blue Jays have made him work here in the first.
And that's the pitch there that Colby, a lot like Melky Cabrera early in the year, had a tough time laying off. They were swinging underneath those high heaters. Doing a good job laying off that one right there.
Encarnacion at third, Lind at first. 3-1. J.P. Arencibia on deck. Rasmus has hit .314 with runners in scoring position this season. He's got the count in his favor at 3 balls and a strike. Ball 4, the bases will be loaded. So Freddie Garcia handled the first 2 batters with ease, and then Edwin Encarnacion had a broken bat single. Lind hit a ball off the pitcher's glove that snuck through for a single, and now Rasmus walks. Encarnacion at third, Lind at second, Colby and Rasmus at first. Bases loaded for J.P. Arancibia. Garcia in the same situation Johnson was in the top half of the inning. Bases loaded, 2 outs. And he hits him. And the Blue Jays take the lead. Once again, the Blue Jays score in the first. They have scored in the first inning now 5 straight games. That's how you put a win streak together. Take an early lead.
Well, not trying to do too much. You look at the way this is all developed. Edwin, his bat died a hero. He got a hit, and then Adam Lind found a little hole there after it hit Freddie's glove. The last 2 hitters have just taken what's come their way. Colby being patient at the plate, and JP getting plunked there, so that scores a run.
Meiser Izturis against his fellow countryman Freddie Garcia, both coming out of Venezuela. Izturis has gotten some big hits. Hit a home run yesterday to give the Blue Jays a 2-1 lead. That was in the 5th. He scored 3 runs on Friday night, including the game-winning run. And he started that 9th inning rally with a leadoff single.
There's little question that Meiser's game has been elevated in the last month, both offensively and defensively. He's starting to have a lot better looks at the plate from both the left side. He's hit home runs from both sides of the plate.
Driven down the right side, but it hooks into the seats out of play. Yesterday, leading off the 5th inning against Miguel Gonzalez.
And there's that sweet swing of his from the left side. Hits it a long way for a little man. He's got some pop.
7 doubles and 5 home runs for Izturis. This is just his second at bat with the bases loaded, and he fights off an inside pitch. Boy, this would be a big hit to deliver here with 2 outs. Jump start the Blue Jays. Emilio Bonifacio is on deck. Freddie Garcia is in a big jam early. And it all began with 2 outs.
Now it's the hottest part of the day right now, and you want the other team to be on the field as long as you can.
Another foul up the first base side.
Buy a little time in the dugout for your starting pitcher. Guys don't seem to mind standing around the bases or running around the bases. That's something that's a lot easier than standing in the outfield and standing at your position.
Josh Johnson looks awfully comfortable sitting on the Blue Jays bench. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Another foul down the right side. Izturis got jammed, but he stays alive.
And already that's the 30th pitch of the first inning for Freddie Garcia. And you know, I don't think Buck Showalter really is going to worry too much about his pitch count, but he will when he gives up runs, and that's what they need to do right here, is capitalize on these opportunities.
Freddie Garcia is making his 12th career start here at Rogers Center. He's 5-5 in this building. Another foul at home plate. Do you buy into the fact that a pitcher is used to throwing 15 to 18 pitches an inning, and once he gets up over 30, it's like a boxer going 5-minute rounds?
Absolutely. There's fatigue that sets in, and there's no question about the fact that you start elevating your pitches, your legs start rushing forward because they get tired.
Bases are loaded, 2 outs. Blue Jays have a 1-0 lead. Strike 3 call. Izturis not happy with the call by Doug Eddings. That ends the inning. The Blue Jays break through during this stretch. They've done it in many ways to score runs. This time Arancibia is hit by the pitch. Blue Jays lead it 1-0. When everybody has fun, even if you're not working on a particular day. Ishmael Rogers is the starting pitcher for tomorrow night, and he is trying to keep his teammates loose. But Jack, it's one thing. There was an old argument. What comes first, winning or chemistry?
Both.
Way to answer it, big guy.
Yeah.
But no, I think when you win, everybody certainly enjoys that.
You start seeing the real personalities come out of all the players because they're starting to pull for each other. They want to keep it going. It's a lot of fun, and they want to keep it going.
J.J. Hardy, the shortstop, takes the first pitch for a strike. Hardy has hit .365 in the month of June. That's the highest average for any month by Hardy in his big league career. He got off to a slow start, hitting just over 190 at the start of May. But he's picked things up dramatically. He has homered in this series. There's that inside pitch you've been looking for.
Well, I just noticed another thing about Josh Johnson. That is, when he comes to his set position in his windup or his delivery when he's in the stretch.
Fastball away, and Hardy hits it into the seats, out of play.
His upper body is not slightly over his back knee, and if it was, he would be able to stride towards the position that he's actually trying to throw to. But because it's not, he's always falling a little to his left, and that pulls the ball over on that first base side all the time. It's harder for him to locate inside when his body is flowing and falling that way a little bit.
Just a kind of a drift instead of being balanced. Full count to J.J. Hardy. Strike three. Locked him up. Second strikeout. Third strikeout for Josh Johnson. He had 2 in the first. Gets the leadoff man here in the second.
Well, he's starting to get into a little rhythm and gaining confidence with all his pitches, but there Hardy looking away, and the ball came backed up a little bit inside.
Chris Dickerson will step in with 1 out. Dickerson and Johnson, they've faced each other in the National League. Dickerson has 4 hits and 7 career at-bats against the Blue Jays right-hander. There's a strike. Off the plate outside. 1-2.
Fastball away, then a hook away. He hasn't shown that he can adjust to it. You might as well stay out there. He's going to throw the split finger here.
There's another hit for Chris Dickerson. Everything was away, and he stayed with it. Picks up the base hit. Fans, time now for our BlackBerry Sneak Peek stat of the game, brought to you by the new BlackBerry Z10 and Q10, built to keep you moving.
We're going to look at Josh Johnson's fastball, the opponent's average. In April, you can see the opponents were hitting .396 off his fastball. In June, that was improved drastically. And I really believe that's because he started throwing more fastballs in. In his last game, I think he got 4 broken bat outs in the first 2 innings.
Ryan Flaherty batting 9th this afternoon. Flaherty is the second baseman. He was 1 for 3 in the game yesterday. 1 for 3 on Friday night with a home run. Missed with 2 pitches down low out of the strike zone. It's a high fly ball to right. Bautista back on the track, has room, makes the catch. 2 down. Well, Josh Johnson was on a disabled list after starting in April, and before the DL, he was struggling. 4 starts, almost a 70 ERA. Opponents hitting about .330 against him, but he's been a dramatically different pitcher since his return.
Boy, do those numbers ever show that. His ERA is 5 points better, and they're hitting about 100 points less. So he's pitched extremely well. One thing concerning about Josh, especially early in the game, is watching his pitch count. He's left one of the games with only 5 innings because the pitch count got up to 100.
There goes the runner. Arancibia's throw is a good one, but not in time. J.P. Arancibia made a strong throw to second. Angel Hernandez, the second base umpire, calls Dickerson safe, his 4th steal. Kawasaki made the tag, thought he had applied the tag before Dickerson hit the bag with his left hand, but Angel Hernandez saw it differently. And Seavey made a strong throw. Nate McLouth has singled already this afternoon. Breaking ball bounced in the dirt. With that single, McLouth extended his hit streak to 7 straight. He's been a nice addition to this lineup.
Yes, he has. He's a pesky kind of guy. He gets on base quite a bit. He's got a lot of stolen bases. Smart baseball player. He knows how to play the game.
Pretty good pitch just off the outside corner. Josh Johnson has been in the stretch most of the afternoon already. Nate McLouth got a first pitch base hit in his first at bat. Pushed Johnson right into the stretch. 3-1.
Well, if you watch pitch tracks and you see the location of pitches, you realize that a lot of the pitches that Josh throws are right about belt high. And that's why he's trying to be so fine on the outer half of the plate. If he could command those pitches down there near the bottom line, knee high, he can be a little bit more over the plate, like that pitch right there.
Lynn flips to Johnson, and the Orioles leave another base runner. Early on, they've stranded 4 and trail the Blue Jays 1-0.
Blue Jays on Sportsnet, brought to you by the 2013 Honda Civic, Canada's best-selling car 15 years in a row. Honda, the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Beautiful Sunday afternoon in Toronto. Ferry going across to Schooner Island, and a lot of boat activity in the harbor. Emilio Bonifacio, number 8 hitter, trying to get things going against Freddie Garcia. Average just at 200, 201 to be exact. Bonifacio slaps it over the pitcher's head. J.J. Hardy doesn't have a chance. Well, you talk about the element of speed. Bonifacio didn't necessarily want to bunt that over the pitcher's head, but once it hit the ground, it was academic.
Yeah, if you could actually do that at will, he'd get 200 hits a year.
What makes you really believe that he should do that more often, too, because, I mean, you saw that wasn't a perfect bunt by any means. Just put it on the ground. Give yourself a running start.
I think he should practice trying to hit it past the pitcher at the second baseman. That's something that's, look at that.
Angel Hernandez waiting for Flaherty to come out of that pile up at second. Bonifacio got a terrific jump at first and picks up his 10th steal. No contest for Wieters. Great acceleration for Bonifacio. You can see he was all the way across the bag before the baseball got to second. Kawasaki now needs to move the runner up. He squares to bunt and bunts it to Chris Davis, who looks at third, bobbles the ball, but still gets Kawasaki. Again, Bonifacio's speed running from second to third.
They just love everything Munenori Kawasaki does, and what he did right there is execute a perfect sacrifice bunt. He got the ball down. Chris Davis might have had a little play, but it would have been close because Emilio was getting some momentum as he's going to third, and he has to turn around and go back to first base to get Kawasaki. So Blue Jays doing what they want to do, having a runner at third base, less than 2 outs.
Kawasaki credited with a sacrifice. Melky Cabrera with Bonifacio at third. Middle of the diamond is back. Shortstop Hardy and second baseman Flaherty will concede a run on a ground out. Corners are in. Davis and Machado at the corners. Probably trying to save a run if they get a ground ball. Melky Cabrera drives it to the outfield. Adam Jones setting up for the throw. Bonifacio tags, and he is across before the ball gets thrown. Blue Jays manufacture another run. They take a 2-0 lead.
Well, I'm not real sure there's a lot of fans that really enjoy that kind of run production, but from a baseball player's perspective, those little things and how you can score. So many of the great teams end up winning and going to playoffs because they can do that kind of thing on a consistent basis.
The Blue Jays have taught themselves how important those things are during this win streak. Yesterday they beat the Orioles 4-2 on just 4 hits. It was the 5th time in the 10-game win streak that they've been out hit by their opponent. But they have manufactured runs, and the pitchers have been the benefactors.
And it's almost like there's 2 different parts of this lineup for the Blue Jays. The lower third can execute those little things and play small ball, and then you've got the boppers on the top part and middle part of the lineup that they can slug it out with anybody.
Thunder and lightning.
Yeah.
Thunder at the top, lightning at the bottom. Jose Bautista grounded out to third, his first time up. Boy, oh boy, and it is so easy for players to understand the importance of manufacturing runs when you're winning games. You see the small things lead to runs, and you see the runs lead to wins. Full count, 2 outs. John Gibbons and the Blue Jays have a 2-0 lead. Edwin Encarnacion got the first inning rally started with a 2-out broken bat single. Bautista's just a little off in his timing. Even when he hits the ball hard as he did there, he's just out in front of Tad. It'll come around. He'll take the walk. The Blue Jays at the start of this series had just 12 wins against the East. Over the last 10 games, they have 10 wins against the East compared to just 5 for Baltimore. Boston, New York with 4 apiece. Tampa Bay has fallen off dramatically. But Blue Jays got to make some hay now. They're in the midst of a long run against the AL East teams.
Well, this is the time to make up that ground. 3 games coming up with Tampa, and then 4-game series in Boston.
Edwin Encarnacion, high, deep, left field. McLeod, 2-run home run. Encarnacion. There's a little more thunder.
Well, Edwin kind of going under the radar during this streak, but he is really the guy that you've got to be afraid of in that lineup as far as power. He's hit his share of home runs during this streak, and he just does it day in and day out. He drives the ball. Tremendous extension right there, and gets the lift and the carry. 2 RBIs.
Home run number 21 for Encarnacion. He now has 61 RBIs. Tremendous extension and a lot of power. Encarnacion now second alone behind Chris Davis for the American lead in home runs. He is third in the league in RBIs. Miguel Cabrera has 74. Chris Davis of the Orioles has 69. And then Encarnacion with 61. Boy, this inning emblematic of what you were talking about the team has 2 offensive personalities. The bottom 2 and then the top of the order, sacrifice hit, sacrifice fly, and then a walk and a homer. Ball is cued off the end of the bat. Flaherty at second. Throws Lind out. The inning is over, but the Blue Jays add 3 in the bottom of the second, keyed by an Edwin Encarnacion 2-run home run. It comes with 2 outs. Josh Johnson set to start the top half of the 3rd inning. Be Manny Machado, Nick Markakis, and Adam Jones for the Orioles. Machado goes after the first pitch. Nice play by Asturias at third. 1 pitch, 1 out. Fans, if you want your baseball questions answered by our team of experts, email asktheexperts@sportsnet.ca. Then keep your eye out for the Home Hardware Ask the Expert segment later on in the game. Josh Johnson could use an economical inning.
Well, I was just going to say that, averaging 20 pitches over the first 2 innings, he could use a 10 or 11 pitch inning here.
Gets ahead of Nick Markakis.
He's got a cushion to work with. Now you don't have to be quite as fine. What you want to do is make sure you don't walk anybody and try not to fall behind in counts.
Looked like a strike, but Johnson didn't get the call. Yeah, this is where you got to be aggressive. I mean, this is where the scoreboard really comes into play in my mind. Very difficult for a team to make up 4 runs unless you help them out. Put base runners on, make bad pitches, walk hitters, fall behind. Just pitch ahead, pitch aggressively. Markakis lines it to right. Bautista got a good break and makes the catch. Jose read that bat very well. Ball come off the bat. He broke in immediately and made an easy play of it.
That's 2 balls hit out to right field that Bautista's gotten good jumps on. That one he had to come in on. The one earlier in the game, he had to go out to the shadows out there in right center field, and he got to it quick, had a good line to the ball.
Adam Jones falls behind. Jones is now 27 years old. He played 162 games last year. He has always enjoyed hitting here at Rogers Center. He had his personal hit streak against the Blue Jays overall snapped at 17 games yesterday when he finished up 0 for 4. Out in front, bouncing ball, fair ball down the third base line. Lynn scoops it out of the dirt. The inning is over. Josh Johnson has a quick inning. He retires the side in order on just 9 pitches. Blue Jays pay special tribute to the Canadian Forces. Today they salute Captain Ryan Hanna. Captain Hanna served in the Princess Patricia's Light Infantry and has been deployed to Operation Athena in Afghanistan as platoon commander. We welcome Captain Hanna and thank you for your services. And he is presented a Blue Jays jersey by Mark Burley with his name on the back of that uniform. Congratulations, Captain Hanna. Welcome to the ballpark. Colby Erasmus goes after the first pitch and drives it to left field. Nate McLouth over near the foul line makes the catch. So Freddie Garcia had some first inning problems. He hit J.P. Arancibia to drive in the first run of the ballgame. Arancibia picked up the RBI. And then Garcia was able to get out of the inning, striking out Meiser and Stewart on a questionable strike 3 call. Blue Jays need to keep the pedal to the metal.
They really do.
Keep pushing.
Freddie's the kind of guy that if he gets into a rhythm, he can start throwing a lot of off-speed pitches, good breaking balls. They need to stay with it. And there's a drive up to center field.
JP Arencibia gets his first hit of the afternoon. It comes with 1 out.
The 2013 Honda Civic, Canada's best-selling car 15 years in a row. Honda, the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Beautiful Sunday afternoon, a roof wide open at Rogers Center. Meiser Asturias goes after the first pitch and hits it into the seat. Asturias had a long at bat with the bases loaded in the first and was eventually called out on an outside fastball. Looked like it might have been away.
Yeah, it looked like it was good 6 inches outside, but Freddie got the call. Meiser's just pulling everything on the inner half foul. He's just missing it, just not quite getting the bat head in the right position to keep it fair.
Arencibia at first, obviously not a base stealing threat, but they will play hit and run with him from time to time. There's a strike on the outside corner. Freddie Garcia has had a couple of outstanding seasons. We mentioned he was traded from Houston to Seattle early in his career. 2001, he went 18-6 with a very good ERA, just over 3. In 2001, he made the All-Star team for the first time and was the winning pitcher, pitching in relief. JP Arencibia with a 1-out base hit is at first. Blue Jays lead it 4-0. There's a drive toward the gap in right center. This ball's going to get down and go all the way to the wall. Arencibia is being waved around third. He's going to have to hurry. Here's the throw to the plate, not in time.
Well, we talked about the pop that Meiser Asturias has had recently, and that ball was driven all the way off the wall in deep right center field. Good ricochet off the wall to Adam Jones, who relays it in to his cutoff man, and JP had to get on his horse to score, but Meiser Asturias just driving this ball right there.
Asturias' 8th double of the season drives home a run. Arencibia scores all the way from first. That would have been interesting had the throw been on line, but Arencibia looking over his shoulder, and Rivera says, "Don't look, just run." JP scoring all the way from first base, and it's 5-0 Blue Jays. Nice warm day for catchers to be running first to home. Asturias picks up his 13th ribby of the season.
Well, it's one way to cool off, you know, get a little wind blowing in your face after wearing that gear on about a 90-degree day here.
Left-hander TJ McFarland begins to warm up in the Orioles bullpen. Blue Jays have won the first 2 games of this series. Freddie Garcia once again in trouble. Runner in scoring position with 1 out. Emilio Bonifacio had a bunt base hit his last time up, had a stolen base, and scored on a sacrifice fly off the bat of Melky Cabrera. 5-0 Blue Jays. This is the kind of game we haven't seen in this win streak, where the Blue Jays just string together a bunch of hits, hit a couple of home runs here and there, and we just haven't seen a real lopsided offensive breakout game for the Jays.
And you kind of sensed it was coming. Freddie Garcia has been struggling lately.
There's a ball driven down the right side. That's a fair ball all the way to the wall. Bonifacio is headed for second. Here comes Historis to score, and Emilio is 2 for 2 already this afternoon.
And there's no cheap hits during this run-scoring barrage here today. Balls are being driven hard. So much fun to watch Emilio round first base. He goes from 10 feet in front of first base to second base as good as anybody. He just can turn it on.
For Bonifacio, that's his 13th double. He gets the head out and rips it down the right field corner. And that's going to be it for Freddie Garcia. Garcia's 10th start of the season will come to an end here in the bottom of the third. He trails 6-0, and the runner at second is his responsibility. DJ McFarland into the ballgame to face Munenori Kawasaki when we come back. A little bit of a rough stretch of late. He has given up 2 runs on 2 hits already in this ball game, and they're just in the second. But Boston has allowed the Tigers to take a 3-2 lead. Detroit will be here at Rogers Center in their next homestand. Detroit will be in for 4 beginning on Canada Day. New pitcher is TJ McFarland, the rookie left-hander, making his 18th appearance of the season. Munenori Kawasaki bats with 1 out.
You better be careful. Maybe about 45, 50,000 people come get you after that.
Kawasaki bails out on the inside heater, and everybody here at Rogers Center takes it personally. Hey, he's our guy, man.
Yeah, that's our guy.
Kawasaki slaps it to short. Bonifacio holds his ground. McFarland gets the first batter he faces. TJ McFarland has allowed 10 of his 16 inherited runners to score this year. We mentioned he's a rookie. He was selected by the Orioles from the Cleveland Indians in the Rule 5 draft last December. He split last season between AA Akron and AAA Columbus in the Indians farm system. He's on in relief of Freddie Garcia, who gives up 7 hits in 2 in the third here this afternoon.
Well, the Jays have spotted Josh Johnson with 6 runs, and there's another one sitting there. Duck on a pond out there. They get him a 7-run lead. He has not had a lot of run support in his return.
There's another base hit up the middle. Here comes Bonifacio. He'll score easily as Melky Cabrera drives him in. Cabrera's second RBI of the season. And the Blue Jays are putting it on the Orioles early. They lead 7-0.
Well, my point is now Josh Johnson really needs to take the bull by the horns and say, look it, I don't want to just get through 5 innings. I want to get deeper into the game, but he's in a great position to win his first American League game today, and he just has to do what he's been doing. Establish the fastball in, keep the ball down, be aggressive, throw strikes. Simple, right, Buck?
No problem to it.
It's only 88, 90 degrees. I don't know what that means in Celsius.
It doesn't mean
26
anything.
or 8 or something like that.
It doesn't mean anything to a pitcher like you. Just go out there and pitch. You got a chance to win a game and maybe shut out a team. Jose Bautista takes a strike. It's 1-1 to Bautista. So TJ McFarland now has given up 11 of the 17 inherited runners that he has entered with. Bonifacio scores. McFarland has been a starter throughout his minor league career, trying to get his feet on the ground in the big leagues, working out of the Orioles bullpen. He's 24 years old. Spent 5 seasons in the Indians minor leagues. We saw Edwin Encarnacion on deck. He's already 2 for 2 with his 21st home run of the season this afternoon. Bautista will walk for a second time. So Cabrera will go down to second. Bautista's at first for Edwin Encarnacion, who's off to a great start to his afternoon. Edwin started the Blue Jays rally in the first with a broken bat single, and then he had a 2-run home run in the second that highlighted a 3-run second inning. There's a drive toward the gap, and that's going to get down, go all the way to the wall. That should score 2. Cabrera's in to score. Right behind him, here comes Bautista. Encarnacion's having a big day at the plate.
Well, Edwin just a triple shy of hitting for the cycle, and we're in the 3rd inning. I'm not sure how many triples he's hit in his career, but as hot as he is, he might have it inside the park, or he just has to hold up at 3rd.
What a great swing there, and the Blue Jays have kicked the door wide open. 5 runs here in the 3rd, 15th double of the season to go along with 21 home runs. Not a bad breaking ball, and he stayed on it and drove it all the way to the wall in deep right center. Josh Johnson's liking what he's seeing so far. 9-0 Blue Jays.
I wonder if he's in the dugout saying, one more guys and I guarantee a win.
There's a strike to Lind. It's 0-2. Lind had a base hit in his first at bat. How's this one off? Blue Jays have sent at least 6 men to the plate in each of the first 3 innings. That'll add up to some runs scored. Good balance in the attack. Oh, 2 to Lynn. He stays alive. Blue Jays trying to tie their franchise record with their 11th straight win. They've done it 2 previous seasons. 88 and 97. That's a foul ball. It's been a long time since we've seen the wave in a full house situation here at Rogers Center.
Well, Jays fans are really having something to cheer about. This is a special thing going on right now, and they came out in big numbers again today. First weekend where they've really drawn well, and the Jays players have really performed for those hometown crowds.
They had 35,000 here on Friday night, 43,000 yesterday on Junior Jays Saturday, and it looks to be a bigger crowd than yesterday's. And it's a great afternoon for baseball. And the Blue Jay hitters and the pitchers have made sure everybody's having a good time. 9 runs on 9 hits so far. T.J. McFarland might be in this game for a while. The Orioles will go home for a 4-game series against the Indians, followed by the New York Yankees for 3. Then they go on the road to Chicago to play the White Sox and to Yankee Stadium for 3 against the Yanks. This time of the year is always important as you lead up to the All-Star break. You want to go into that All-Star break with as much momentum as possible. The Blue Jays will leave after this game, go to St. Petersburg for 3 against Tampa Bay, and then a 4-game series against the Boston Red Sox beginning Thursday night at Fenway. Outside, it's 2-2.
Well, Buck, one thing that I think is important too is the Orioles came in here after 2 wins against Detroit, who's by a lot of people's standards one of the better teams in the league. Great pitching, leading the Central Division, one of the best offensive teams in baseball. And the Orioles won that series, winning their last 2 games.
Then bounces it towards second. Flaherty waits on it, then the inning is over. T.J. McFarland finally gets out of the inning. Blue Jays have taken a 9-0 lead. When we come back, we'll be joined by Blue Jays great Carlos Delgado, the all-time home run leader for the Jays. Carlos Delgado will have a training day right here at Rogers Center. It'll take place Monday, July 22nd when the Blue Jays take on the Dodgers. Join Carlos Delgado, Hall of Famer Roberto Alomar, Sean Green, Alex Gonzalez, Jose Cruz Jr., Lloyd Mosby, and other Blue Jay legends for an on-field baseball camp at Rogers Center. Proceeds from the event will benefit Carlos Delgado's Extra Bases Foundation. Learn more about it at bluejays.com/Delgado. And we are pleased to be joined in the booth now by Carlos Delgado. And Carlos, congratulations on your training day. I know it's going to be a great time, not only for the kids that attend, but for all you guys that get to have a reunion a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be more fun for the celebrity coaches than the actual participants. So, but at the end of the day, I think the most important thing is the proceeds will go to help out kids. Through our foundation, Extra Bases. We've been doing it for about 12 years, so it will be a nice day for that true baseball fan. It will be a different experience, so they get to know, they understand that it's not as easy as it looks from the outside. So we're going to have a good time.
Tell us about the focus of the foundation and where it's located and where you reach the most children.
We're based out of Puerto Rico. It started in my town, Aguadilla, Puerto Rico, small town in the west side. We've been doing it for about 12 years. So we actually do not have a building ourselves, but what we have done, we identify different centers and institutions that work with children on an everyday basis. Abandoned kids, kids with special needs, inner city programs, after school programs. So what we try to do is try to impact the life of these children and give them an opportunity that they can become great human beings and have a better opportunity in life. So it has been very challenging because obviously in these days with tough economy, it's harder to raise the money. But it's been very rewarding because you have the opportunity to help other people. You have opportunity to give some kids that otherwise wouldn't have an education or an opportunity, a chance to excel in life. So it's been fun.
No, can't do anything better than that, helping kids and giving them a chance. I think everybody should be on board with that. Carlos, what do you think of the Jays, this run? You were a part of that. What, 1998 was it, or
98? Yep,
98.
They had an 11-game win streak in 98. You and Sean Green were the big guys on that team.
That was a good year. That was fun. We had a good offense. We had good offense that year. I mean, but this is fun to watch. These guys have been playing better, swinging the bat really well. So I mean, I guess it was just a matter of time. Sometimes teams take a little longer to gel, but it seems like they are coming together as a team, swinging the bat better. You know, you can see they have a little swagger now, which is nice. I mean, they're in a tough division. They got their work cut out, but I mean, this team is it was too good not to be playing at this level. So it's good to see, and it's good to see Rogers Center kind of packed. You know, it's a better feeling as an athlete. Let me tell you that.
It sure is, and it's been a long time coming. Your training camp is on Monday, July 22nd. On the Sunday, July 21st, your name is going to be put up on the level of excellence. What's that mean to you to join those great names on the level of excellence?
It is a humbling experience. I'm very honored. I mean, I look up and I see Robbie Alomar, Ciro Gasso, Tony Fernandez, Joe Carter, all those great players that left some great memories throughout their Blue Jay career here in Toronto. So when I got the call, I was very excited. It's going to be an emotional day for me. It's going to be fun. I always say that I didn't play the game to get recognized, but now you look back and you say, well, it was a fun run, and I'm very appreciative of the Blue Jays organization for giving me an opportunity to break into the big leagues and establish myself as a player. So that day, everybody's going to be here.
Carlos, thank you very much. Congratulations. We will see you on the 21st.
Thank you, Buck. Yeah, good talking to you. All the best. Thank you.
Carlos Delgado, the Blue Jays will go to the bottom of the fourth. Josh Johnson has another 1, 2, 3 innings. It's all Blue Jays this afternoon. think that controversy is all over, Jack.
It is, but this guy is really bringing it up to a different level. He's starting to get comfortable. Made a great play yesterday. Another diving stop right there. Josh Johnson says, hey, I'll take you. Nice job.
Johnson, of course, has seen Bonifacio play. They were teammates down in Florida with the Marlins, and now Boney has certainly gotten comfortable in his new surroundings, both offensively and defensively. He has had a big day at the plate with a couple of hits and scored 2 runs. He's also added an RBI. Colby Erasmus will start things off for the Jays. Blue Jays send 9 men to the plate in the 3rd inning, scored 5 runs.
Yeah, that's an impressive crooked number. And you back that up with 3 in the 2nd, 1 in the 1st. They got themselves a 9-run lead. It's on cruise control. And it's the time of game now. You've got to remain focused. You can really add to your stats offensively. And Josh Johnson's got to stay focused. Sometimes it's easy to get into those lapses where you don't focus, and all of a sudden, before you know it, there's 1 or 2 runs, and base runners all over the place. So everybody needs to remain focused. Forget about the score.
Yeah, I think Josh Johnson really needs this game to get him off and running. Go ahead and put up zeros the rest of the day as long as he's out there. And I agree with you. I think he should shoot for 7, maybe 8 innings and just say, okay, fellas, I got this one. And we'll keep everybody fresh for the 7-game road trip. Rasmus pulls it outside of first.
Well, they've been careful with him because of his stint on the DL. But this is a warm day, and as long as he manages his pitches from this point forward, he had a good inning there in the 4th. He had a 1-2-3 inning in the 3rd, and you know, he's starting to get dialed in. He's got a huge run support, something he's not used to. And all he has to do is go out and throw first pitch strikes and take it from there. It's a lot easier said than done. That's why I mention it. I know that it's hard sometimes to focus with a lot of runs, but Josh has been around long enough to understand that.
Full count. Another foul ball. I think one thing, too, that you have to use to your advantage is the Orioles. They're down. Being shut out on just 3 hits. They lost the first 2 games. Just keep the pressure on them.
Yeah.
You don't want to encourage them at all by falling behind. But the Orioles, they're a confident team. This team came into this ball game with more wins than anybody in the American League since last July. This has popped up. Center fielder Adam Jones backs up a couple of steps. 1 down.
Come find out why more Canadians trust Mr. Lube's trained technicians with their oil changes than any other quick lube. We're number 1 for a reason. Take good care.
Tall ships are in the Toronto Harbor, and it's been a great weekend with the Dragon boats at Center Island, the tall ships at the harbor, and the Blue Jays at home against the AL East rival Baltimore Orioles. J.P. Arancibia has been on base twice. He was hit by a pitch and singled. Scored a run and driven in a run.
Well, I think you made a great point, Buck, about sending a message to the Orioles. Here's a team that has played exceptionally well for a year plus. Got to the postseason last year, and they have some swagger about them. They know that they're a good ball club. And we have talked so much about their position players, how good they are. But here's a chance for them, the Blue Jays, to kind of put a dot and say, we're in this to stay. And we can play with anybody in this division. We're not pretenders, we're contenders. And to win this game would really make that statement.
Oh, absolutely makes a statement. You throw your hat in the ring and say, you know what, fellas, we're not going anywhere. We're going to stay in this race. This has popped up a mile high, center of the infield. Brian Flaherty takes charge, the second baseman. Makes the catch. Let's take a look at the schedule ahead for the Blue Jays. As we mentioned, we'll go to Tampa Bay. Play 2 night games and a day game, Monday through Wednesday. Then on to Boston, take on the Red Sox, a 4-game series. Saturday and Sunday afternoon. And right back here, Canada Day. The Tigers are in town, and what a rivalry for Canada Day here at Rogers Center. And then after that, the Minnesota Twins and the Blue Jays go out on the road to face Cleveland and Baltimore before the All-Star break. Meister Asturias pops up to end the inning. We'll go to the top of the fifth. It's all Blue Jays, 9-0. Now it's time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn in the Blackberry broadcast studio. The bobblehead will be given away Sunday, July 7th, when the Blue Jays take on the Minnesota Twins. The game starts at 1:07 p.m. The first 20,000 fans will receive a J.P. Arencibia bobblehead. Call 416-341-1234 to order your tickets for the J.P. Arencibia bobblehead day. You can log on to BlueJays.com or stop by most Rogers Plus locations and order your tickets for Sunday, July 7th, when the Blue Jays take on the Twins. It's J.P. Arencibia bobblehead day. Hot shot off the bat of Chris Dickerson. Easy play for Bonifacio. 9 straight retired by Josh Johnson.
Yeah, he's gotten in a groove and he's doing basically, I don't think he heard me at all, but I'm really going to take a little vibes from him.
Oh, your voice carries a long way.
Yeah, a long way, all the way down there. He's throwing strike one. It's the greatest pitch that ever was made. Strike one.
Strike one is the best.
There's another one.
Shoot for the big part of the plate. Ryan Flaherty flied out to right his first time up.
Well, Josh has got all the stuff to be a big winner. That's one of the reasons that this organization went out and took that contract and got him over here.
Flaherty gets jammed. Asturias cuts in front of Kawasaki. Another ground ball out for Josh Johnson, and that has been a big improvement for Johnson since he's come back from the disabled list.
Yeah, I think he needs to trust what he has. He's always been a guy that had a power arm, and fastballs being a big part of that. And Josh has been commanding the ball on both halves of the plate a lot better since his return from the disabled list. In a game like this, there's a lot of managers, Buck. I don't know if you ever had one. A lot of managers, when you're behind in games like this, they'll make you take a pitch, hoping that maybe you'll get the pitch count worked up there. See if a guy kind of gets into that mental lapse.
You know, that used to be a standard.
Yeah.
You were behind more than 2 runs, you were taking a pitch. And you got to make this guy work. Plus, you have to see what he's throwing. McLeod didn't mean to, but he's quickly behind. Nowadays, that doesn't seem to be an approach. Even, you know, the best managers don't feel like it's really something you want to do. Just give your hitters a chance to go up there and hope they have a good approach, understanding what the score is. But not many managers will put that take a strike mentality up there.
Well, I think there's a certain group of pitchers that really have fallen in love with strikeouts. and they end up throwing a lot of pitches because of that. Josh has been one of those guys. He's got all the pitches to strike people out. He's got an excellent breaking ball. And yet, for me, when you have a big run cushion to work with like this, forget about the strikeouts. Try to get quick outs.
And there's a strikeout, and he did it quickly. Another 1-2-3 inning for Josh Johnson. He's retired 11 straight, and why not? He's got a 9-0 lead. He gets Nate McLeod with a breaking ball on the outside corner. Saturday, July 13th. It all begins at 6:05 p.m. The Buffalo Bisons take on the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Rail Riders. The first 3,000 fans will receive a Blue Jays cap. Appearances by Blue Jays alumni Dwayne Ward, Candy Maldonado, and Ace. Teams will play a doubleheader, 2 7-inning games, so make sure you sign up for Blue Jays Night in Buffalo. You can get tickets at bisons.com. Of course, the focus of the attention on Buffalo right now is Jose Reyes, who is supposed to be the DH there this afternoon. Get a sense that Reyes is not going to join the Blue Jays for their trip to St. Pete as Bonifacio grounds out. Sounds like Jose Reyes might join the Blue Jays in Boston, as they want to give him a couple of extra days and maybe keep him off the artificial surface in Tampa Bay.
Well, I think it really makes sense, especially under the circumstances of this win streak and the fact that it gives him a little more time. It lets him maybe play a 9-inning game and take a day off too, or just play a few innings in the next game, or even DH the next day. And I think they want him 100%, no question.
Well, and you have to remember he's only played 10 games.
Yeah.
And that was April 12th when he got hurt in Kansas City. So he's had a lot of rust to gather. Kawasaki hits one up the middle. Flaherty quickly makes a nice play, and there are 2 ground ball outs here in the 5th. Good play by Ryan Flaherty. TJ McFarland, we mentioned he is a Rule 5 player. It's the 2nd straight year the Orioles have broken spring training with a Rule 5 player. Ryan Flaherty was a Rule 5 player last year when he made the Orioles out of spring training, and now TJ McFarland has done the same this season. 2 outs. Melky Cabrera had a big day at the plate. Grounded out in the first, had a sac fly in the second, and an RBI single, and scored in the third. You mentioned the addition of Reyes is going to have an impact on this roster, but right now I think you're 100% right. Leave Reyes down there. Let this team continue to play the way it is, and make sure that when Reyes comes back, you can insert him in the lineup and turn him loose.
Well, and I think that'll probably be in Boston. I just think they're going to give him the extra 3 days in Tampa because of the turf, and that's the only reason.
Cabrera reaches for it and pokes it into the seats. but it'll certainly add that added dimension of speed, and we have seen how speed can really create problems for the opponents. Bonifacio's speed today has proven to be big. He has another stolen base. Kawasaki has 7 steals. This is popped up, should be playable. Machado, the third baseman, in foul ground, makes the catch, and the Blue Jays go quietly in the 5th. We'll go to the 6th, and fans, here comes the Home Hardware cleanup crew. Brought to you by Netra, Home Hardware's exclusive line of safe, environmentally friendly cleaning products. Welcome back to Rogers Center. It's the top of the 6th inning, and the Blue Jays are enjoying a comfortable lead. Josh Johnson is looking for his first win in a Blue Jays uniform. Blue Jays have had a couple of crooked numbers this afternoon. They scored 3 in the 2nd, 5 in the 3rd. Manny Machado takes a first pitch strike from Josh Johnson. He drives this ball to left. Melky Cabrera is not going to get it. It bounces past him, and Machado is headed for second. Here's the throw, and he's in there standing up. For Machado, that's his 34th double of the season. And he is on a record pace with the doubles. Machado has been a doubles machine. He leads the majors now with 34 doubles.
Well, the pitch was down. He had thrown him a fastball middle half up, first pitch, and then that one was down. Machado just went down and got it. He's a good hitter. Way ahead of his time. Just a kid.
He's 20 years old, and Machado is on pace for a record-setting year with doubles. That's just outside the bag at first. Machado is 20 years old. He's on pace to become one of the youngest players to lead the majors in doubles all time. Cesar Cedeno had 40 doubles at 20 years old in '71. Vada Pinson had 47 doubles as a 21-year-old. Alex Rodriguez had 54 doubles. He was 21 as well. Machado's on pace for 72 doubles. Markakis drives this ball in the gap. This is going to go down for extra bases. Machado is around third. Markakis will coast into second with an RBI double. And the Orioles are on the board here in the 6th. Back-to-back doubles. And they have broken through against Josh Johnson.
Well, Josh kind of forgetting about his breaking ball, and you still have to throw all your pitches. There's another fastball out over the plate. The Orioles are just too good at hitters to just throw him a steady diet of the same pitch. Josh got plenty of cushion yet, just has to regroup and get back on top of things.
Adam Jones at the plate. He's 0 for 2 this afternoon, 0 for his last 7 in this series. Jones is 1 for 10 against the Jays in this 3-game series. Another first pitch strike. Off the plate outside. Orioles now have 5 hits against Josh Johnson. Still nobody throwing. Johnson has only thrown 79 pitches. He should have a lot left in that big right arm. Markakis at second. Johnson's ahead 1-2. Josh Johnson has recorded 4 strikeouts this afternoon. He got Jones to swing and miss a slider in the first. Little tapper towards short. Kawasaki's going to have to unload in a hurry just in time to get Jones. Jones turned to the umpire immediately and challenged Jordan Baker on that call. Jones hustles down the line. Now Buck Showalter is going to take up the argument at first.
Well, we're going to have a better look than anybody else had right here, but Munenori gets rid of the ball quickly. Makes a good strong throw. Adam Jones hustling down the line and really can't see anything there, but it was close.
So Buck Showalter had his say with Jordan Baker. Jones is out 6-3 on the putout. Kawasaki unloaded in a hurry. Markakis moves to third. Jones still giving the umpire his thoughts about that call. Doug Eddings, a home plate umpire, called timeout. He was helping the young umpire at first base as Jones was still barking at him from the dugout. As Davis gets jammed and it's off the glove of Bonifacio. He got in between.
Yep.
He didn't know whether to come and try to take that ball on the line or play it on the hop, and that indecision cost him. Bonifacio is charged with the air. No RBI for Davis. As that ball kicks off his glove. He thought about coming and playing it on the line and then decided not to and played himself into a short, tough hop.
That's just it. It's that indecision of not knowing if he plays back, he gets it easily.
There's a fly ball off the bat of Matt Wieters. Rasmus is there. Davis does get credit for an RBI on the air by the second baseman. Now there are 2 outs.
Have you voted in the Kit Kat Chunky Challenge? Try all 3 new flavors today and cast your vote on Facebook for a chance to win some big chunky prizes.
J.J. Hardy takes the first pitch strike. He waves at that pitch, and Aaron Sevia may have taken that right off his toe. Slider down and away. JP trying to walk off the effects of that foul ball. Oh, he loves being a catcher, huh? Not everybody can experience these shots off your foot.
Buck, you were probably around before they had that extended pad that went over the top of the foot. But how many catchers have had broken toes because of foul tips?
You get that foul tip right off that big toe, and the toenail gets blood underneath it, and it swells up. A lot of fun, Jack. J.J. Hardy strikes out. The Orioles break through. They score 2 here in the top of the 6th, but the Blue Jays have a 9-2 lead. Alberta flood relief. Of course, southern Alberta has been hit by floodwaters, and it's been a terrible situation. And the Rogers Communications Company has also made a donation of $100,000, and that is Jose Bautista's ankles as he acknowledges Calgary, Alberta, and the people that are suffering because of the flooding situation in Alberta. And we all want to send our best and hopes for a safe and positive return to your houses, as everybody that has been displaced because of the floodwaters. But we're all thinking about you in southern Alberta. Hopefully the waters will recede soon. Jose Bautista has walked twice. He's scored both times he's walked. He's officially just 0 for 1 this afternoon. He waits on that pitch and pops it into center field. Adam Jones is there. That's the first out of the bottom of 6th. Edwin Encarnacion is just a triple shy of the cycle. A broken bat single in the first, a shot 2-run home run. The last Blue Jays cycle was August 17, 2001. Jeff Fry did it against the Texas Rangers. Edwin does not have a triple this season.
Well, I think there was an at-bat. I don't know what month it was or even week it was, but he made about 15 sprints from first base towards second base, and that might have prevented him from any triples this year.
He pops this one up over near the Orioles dugout. Chris Davis is there. He makes the catch, and Encarnacion is retired. I'll have to wait till his next at bat. 2 down. Adam Lind, the first baseman this afternoon. Lind is making his 29th start. He made his 29th start at first. He and Encarnacion have been going back and forth every other day, just about. Seems to have worked well for both of them.
Yeah, it's keeping them both sharp, giving them a little time off from the rigors of standing out there in the bright sun, and they both can adapt to the DH. I think it's probably harder to DH, especially when you're young, like both these guys are, than play on the field. But a lot of hitters don't mind that DH role, and they get the extra rest in between at bats.
Just depends on your personality, I think. Lynn flourished as a DH early in his career. In 2009, he was the Silver Slugger at the DH position in the American League. Edwin Encarnacion's been a position player his whole career. Came up as a third baseman with the Cincinnati Reds, so I'm sure he enjoys being on the field. You just seem like you're more involved in the game when you play a position defensively. Lynn strikes out. TJ McFarland has settled in nicely. He's retired 10 straight Blue Jays. Season. It's the last chance to buy 2013 Blue Jays Flex Packs. Great seats and save on your price per tickets. The deadline for buying the 2013 Flex Pack is Friday, June 28th at 5 p.m. Great opponents still coming to Rogers Center this season include the New York Yankees, the Boston Red Sox, the LA Dodgers, and the Detroit Tigers. For more information, call Blue Jays at 416-341-1234. Log on to BlueJays.com to order your 2013 Flex Pack. Chris Dickerson has his second hit of the afternoon. He's 2 for 3. He has now had 6 hits in 9 at-bats against Josh Johnson for his career. Buck Showalter looks like a genius putting Dickerson in the lineup today.
Well, one thing that Dickerson has done is he hunts fastballs, and he's gotten a few to hit. Josh is, you know, it's in fastball mode. You just got to keep it down. Try to keep it off the center of the plate.
You can see the Orioles know that he's going to get a fastball, and Flaherty goes after the first pitch. Josh Johnson and John Gibbons had a chat after the last half inning. Probably a status check. How are you feeling? No problems. Ready to go. Give you another inning. That's good news.
Yeah, that's good news.
Ryan Flaherty at the plate. Hits this one hard and deep to right and gone. Ryan Flaherty, a 2-run home run, his second homer of this series, his 4th home run of the season. And all of a sudden that makes the Rogers Center crowd stir a little bit. A 2-run home run, still nobody out here in the 7th.
Well, another fastball right there. And one thing Josh hasn't done, I don't remember maybe one today, is he threw one split finger fastball. That's his changeup. He doesn't really have an off-speed pitch. And when everything's the same speed, a good hard slider, good hard fastball, hitters start gearing up for it. He still has a lot of breathing room, but sometimes you fall in love with one pitch and you realize, and that could be it. I think Aaron Loop's ready. John Gibbons going to come out and make the move.
So Josh Johnson should pick up his first win of the season. He pitches 6 innings plus 2 batters, and he will hand things over to the bullpen, and the crowd appreciates the effort of Johnson. The Blue Jays certainly has to feel satisfied, as he's made a dramatic contribution to extending this win streak to 11 games. Now he'll turn things over to the bullpen. Aaron Luke throws the first pitch to Nate McLeod, and McLeod has been swinging early all day long. 1 pitch, 1 out for Aaron Luke. Luke came into the ball game yesterday. His assignment was Chris Davis with nobody on in a tie game. And Blue Jays had a 2-1 lead, and he hit Chris Davis, and he was out of the game. So he faced just 1 batter yesterday. Manny Machado. First pitch changeup. Good idea by Luke.
Oh, very good idea. That's something that none of the Oriole hitters have seen today, is an off-speed pitch. Another one dots the eye right there.
Well, the Blue Jays had their consecutive scoreless streak snapped yesterday. Taylor Teagarden hit a home run off Darren Oliver. Manny Machado making a bid for his second hit, and he'll get it as that ball sinks in front of Colby Erasmus in center field. Orioles third baseman is 2 for 4 this afternoon. There's a pretty good pitch. He stayed down and got it. The bullpen's streak of 27 2/3 innings without an earned run was a great run. Tied the second longest streak in franchise history by Blue Jays bullpen. Previous longest streak, the highest streak, was in 1985, and that was just 1 more out, 28 innings of consecutive scoreless relief. There's a strike. Nick Markakis. Markakis had an RBI double in the 6th. Drove in the first run. He would come around to score on Chris Davis's at bat. Davis reached on an air but picked up an RBI as it bounced off the glove of the second baseman. Hit hard on the ground. Bonifacio at second, turns it quickly. Kawasaki gave him a great feed. Double play combination has been outstanding. Colby Erasmus will start things off. Bottom of the seventh, J.P. Arancibia, then Meiser Storis. Another big hit this afternoon. Farmhand that was dealt to the Mets for John Buck and Travis Snyder, so he's been promoted to Double-A. Gorgeous day at Rogers Center. The roof is wide open. Game time temperature was 29 degrees, and it is a beautiful late June Sunday afternoon. Colby Erasmus trying to join the hit parade. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. Blue Jays have scored 9 runs on 9 hits. Edwin Encarnacion with the only home run. A 2-run homer in the second. And then the Blue Jays put up a 5 spot in the bottom of the third, and they have that 9-0 lead.
Well, because Pat is not here, Pat Tabler is not with us today, I'm going to have to ask you this question.
There's a high fly ball to right. Markakis drifting back at the track, at the wall. Home run, Rasmus. Colby Erasmus joins the hit parade with his 14th of the season.
Well, the ball just kept carrying. He's got such strong hands, and he can hit the ball a long way. And he can hit a lot of high fly balls. That one was hit high and far. Kept carrying and carrying, and he ends up with a home run. So we can't use and reference Colby Rasmus now that he's on the hit parade. But I'm just curious. Munenori Kawasaki has not had a hit in this game. And you've got
Bautista hasn't had a hit.
Okay. And you've got a lot of hits on the board, a lot of runs on the board. As a position player that doesn't get on the board when your team scores a pile, what's that feel like?
Manny Machado grabbed that ball and for some reason didn't even think about throwing. It's a fair ball.
Yeah.
But he got it as if he thought it were ruled a foul ball. It was clearly fair where he caught it. I don't know if he expected it to be called foul at home plate. The ball took a funny bounce off the bat. But watch the reaction of the third baseman. Bounce. catches it. The umpire calls it fair. Ball went clearly over the bag. On a play like that, you just got to throw it.
You've got to throw it.
Machado anticipated the umpire calling it foul, and that cost him. JP credited with an infield hit, his second hit of the afternoon. Fair ball just inside the bag at third. Arancibia headed for third. Asturias will go to second. Here's the throw to third, not in time. Meiser Asturias, his second double of the afternoon. 3 straight hits for the Blue Jays in the 7th.
The first hit for Meiser from the right side off the left-hander McFarland. Drills it down the left field line. The hit parade continues.
Okay, I haven't forgotten your question.
Well, it's okay if you did.
It's about being the only guy in the lineup that hasn't had a hit. And I know I was in that position a lot in my career. Somebody will come in the clubhouse and say, way to go, everybody but Buck.
Or somebody has to make the outs, right?
Yep. Bonifacio goes after the first pitch and hits it to the shortstop. The infield was drawn in. That's the first out of the inning.
The 2013 Honda Civic, Canada's best-selling car 15 years in a row. Honda, the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
That's a beautiful sidelines around Rogers Center. Blue Jays lead it 10-4. Munenori Kawasaki bounces the ball toward second. Arancibia made a step toward home, but he's wise in staying put at third as Kawasaki's thrown out. Munenori is 0 for 3, but he had a big sacrifice bunt in the second. Rasmus talking things over with his hitting coach, Chad Mottola, after homering. Blue Jays have scored 10 runs. It's the 7th time this season they've scored 10 or more runs in a game. Buck Showalter will be appreciative of the job T.J. McFarland gave him. McFarland came into the ballgame in the 3rd in relief of Freddie Garcia. Now Pedro Strop will come on to get some work with 2 outs, bottom of the 7th. Pedro Strop is into the game for the 28th time this season. Strop delivered the pitch that Rajay Davis hit for the game-winning base hit in the 9th inning of Friday night's game. Strop was not the losing pitcher in that game. It was Brian Mattis, but Strop gave up the game-winning base hit to Rajay Davis. That's the man he's going to face entering the ball game here this afternoon. Davis batting for the first time. Rajay entered the game as a defensive player for Melky Cabrera in the 7th.
Yeah, this is a kind of a unique situation. You're a relief pitcher, and your last at bat, the last hitter you face is a guy that ended up winning a game. So you get an opportunity, and there's 2 runners on that you're inheriting.
Davis hit a breaking ball off Strop for that game winner.
You'll see managers do that as much as they can. get right back in the same situation. It's like get bucked off the horse, get right back in the saddle, try it again.
Yeah, and these two are going to meet down the road the rest of the season, and Strope's not been throwing well. So obviously it's not a high pressure situation for Strope. A chance to get himself straightened out. Managers are constantly looking to put their players in positions where they can have success. They're trying to build their confidence up. That's a little interesting. Rajay Davis gets hit with a fastball. Got a base open. Strope's first batter since entering the ball game. And he hits Davis. Now Bautista's at the plate.
Well, it hit him square in the back. But Strope's been erratic lately with his fastball. And this is the guy that you kind of wonder if they're going to try to throw at a little.
Tough to do in this situation. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Bautista looking for his first hit. He is 0 for 2 with a pair of walks. He's scored 2. He homered in the 8th inning of yesterday's game, the difference in the ball game. Blue Jays have scored a run here in the 7th. Colby Erasmus, a leadoff home run. Bases are loaded. 2 outs. Base hit, that's going to drive in 3. Aaron Seavey's in to score. Isturiz is around to score, and here comes Rajay Davis. The route is on.
Well, it's another case where Jose gets a fastball out over the plate. You can tell that maybe he's heating up a little bit. That one he squared up and sent it flying right out to right center. And you take a look out at the field and you see Rajay Davis at the crack of the bat taking off, and you know that he's going to score immediately. So Jose Bautista picks up 3 RBIs right there.
He now has 42 for the season. Edwin Encarnacion's had a big day. 3 hits, including a 2-run double and a 2-run homer. That base hit was more encouraging because of where it went. His double went in the right center alley. High and deep, and is it fair? No. Just hooked foul into the second deck. Well, you talk about getting some momentum to take on the road with you. How about the way the Jays have swung the bats this afternoon?
Well, no question. And this is great because they got solid pitching from their starter again today. And just a lot of fun offensively.
Broken bat. J.J. Hardy at shortstop throws out Encarnacion. The inning comes to an end, but the Blue Jays score 4 in the bottom of the 7th, fueled by Jose Bautista's bases loaded double. TD Comfort Zone, our guest of TD. Enjoying a great afternoon. Another big sellout crowd here at Rogers Center. And over across in the Jays Care Community Clubhouse, there are some very special guests from the Carlos Delgado Extra Bases Foundation. Carlos was with us earlier in the ball game, and he is going to have a clinic right here at Rogers Center. You can find out about it by logging on BlueJays.com/Delgado. Take place July 22nd. Juan Perez making his 6th appearance of the season.
Well, he's pitched very well since being recalled from Buffalo, and it's a good opportunity for John Gibbons to get him in a game and try to keep him sharp. Maybe he'll pitch the 8th, hand it over to Dustin McGowan maybe for the 9th. Get them both in a game here where they haven't pitched much lately.
Jones hits one past Kawasaki into left field. Adam Jones' first hit of the afternoon. Josh Johnson, the pitcher of record, makes a start here this afternoon. He goes 6 plus a couple of batters, gives up 7 hits, 4 earned runs, walked a batter, struck out 5. He was victimized by a Ryan Clarity 2-run home run in the 7th inning, but he is in line for his first Blue Jays win of the season.
And without barring a total collapse from the bullpen, Josh will pick up his first American League win. And that's been a long time coming. He's pitched a lot better than his record shows, but especially since he's come off the DL.
Chris Davis drove in a run in his last at bat. He was credited with a RBI on the air at second base by Bonifacio. Chris Davis, we mentioned he has 51 extra base hits in 75 games this season. No other Oriole has had more than 46 extra base hits. That ball is hammered into center. One hops. Colby Erasmus almost handcuffed him in straightaway center. But Davis has had a great start to his season. So Juan Perez, who hasn't pitched in a week, his last appearance was right here at Rogers Center. Blue Jays wrapped up that series. It was down in Arlington on Sunday a week ago that he pitched against the Rangers. So he has not had a chance to work much lately. And the first 2 he faces in the 8th have both reached. Matt Wieters batting as a right-hander for the first time today. Takes a strike. Orioles catcher has gone 0 for 3. Perez ahead. We mentioned a great crowd, 45,214 on hand at Rogers Center. 45,214, another sellout. That's the 8th sellout crowd they've had this season. 8th crowd over 45,000. And the Blue Jays have been treated to a great weekend of attendance, and the fans have been treated to good baseball.
Yeah, it's just so good to see. I remember the glory years here where every game was a sellout for 2 years, and to see this place full again brings a big smile to my face.
It's like a rock concert every night. Wieters grounds it to third. That's a fair ball as Stur steps on the bag to first. Nice double play. Meiser Izturis playing like a wizard, making his 16th start at third, went into foul ground, gathered himself, stepped on the bag, and gunned across the diamond for the double play.
Just awareness right there. First thing he does is catch the ball. Then it's a race to the base to beat Adam Jones. And he does that easily. And then on the run, throws a strike. So great play by Meiser. He's just really stepping it up defensively.
Well, that picks up Juan Perez, certainly. Perez now working with 2 outs. Meiser Izturis has moved all over the diamond, and his play in the field has improved with each game.
Again, we're going to take another look. Meiser fielding the ball and then stepping in one motion, hitting the bag and kind of pushing off it as he launches the throw towards first.
Remember early in the season when he was having trouble throwing across the diamond like that?
Oh, he looks like a different guy completely, both at third and at second. Hasn't played a lot of short since Reyes has been gone because of Kawasaki, but he's done a great job, especially at third base in the last role here in the last couple weeks.
He's got a pair of doubles this afternoon. Hardy fouls it back. It's 2-2. Well, of course, when you're looking at an 11-game win streak, everything is going well for the ball club, and the defense is tightened up. The pitching has been remarkable. Clutch hitting more than just offensive breakout games has been key. Lind, Encarnacion, Bautista all contributing. That ball goes right through the glove of Aaron Sebia back to the screen. Davis goes to third base. It's a pass ball charged to JP. He just took his eye off it, actually ducked his head. He kind of looked like he might have thought Hardy was going to swing at it, but it's a pass ball charged to Aaron Sebia. Davis now at third. Ground ball is Sturris, another chance. Throws out Hardy. Perez, with the support of his defense, gets out of the inning. Blue Jays lead at 13-4. Now it's time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn in the Blackberry Broadcast Studio. To you by Bacardi Oakart, smooth, spiced rum. Bacardi is a proud partner of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Well, with two doubles offensively, the smooth move of the game is going to go to third baseman Meister Sturris. He just fields a ball to his right, comes up throwing, steps on the bag first, and gets a double play. So that'll be our Bacardi smooth move of the game.
Silky smooth at third is Meister Sturris as he makes all 3 outs in the inning. New pitcher for the Orioles will be the left-hander Troy Patton, making his 28th appearance. First time he's appeared in this series, so Buck Showalter wanted to give him some work. So it was McFarland in relief of Freddie Garcia. Stroke got a third of an inning, and now Troy Patton. Left-handed hitters have hit him hard. There's Travis Ishikawa taking over for Davis at first. Alexi Casilla coming on defensively, takes over for Flaherty as Flaherty moves to shortstop. Manny Machado now. They're shifting around on Lynn. J.J. Hardy is out of the game. Machado at short. He's a natural shortstop and throws Lynn down. That'll be 5-3 in the scorebook, but Machado was positioned right at shortstop. Troy Patton, the left-hander. mentioned lefties have hit over 300 against him this season. (13-4) Blue Jays, and they have scored 13 runs on 13 hits. Kobe Rasmus homered his last time up. Home run number 14 for Rasmus. Blue Jays now have 5 hitters with 10 or more home runs. Right-hander Dustin McGowan looks like he is getting set to pitch the 9th inning. Juan Perez hadn't worked in a while, nor has McGowan. Opportunity to get McGowan out on the mound. This has been quite a homestand for the Blue Jays. Chance to record a perfect homestand, 6-0. It'll be the first sweep of a homestand with 6 or more games since September of 2008. I mean, this run is taking on historic proportions for the Blue Jays. Their 11th win will tie a franchise record for most consecutive wins. Rasmus strikes out, 2 down. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Any accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. We won number 11, and you're going to get it. It's 13-4, 11-game win streak. And J. Pierre Arencibia, he picks up another hit. That's a 3-hit day for the Blue Jays catcher. A couple of good signs in this ball game today. The Jose Bautista at bat in the 7th, I think, was a real good sign. He went the opposite way and cleared the bases with a double. And Arencibia gets 3 knocks here this afternoon. He picked up an RBI when he was hit by a pitch. He's been on base 4 times.
Well, so many good things are happening.
Torres grounds to the shortstop. They flip to second for the 4th out. We'll go to the 9th. It's all Blue Jays. Dustin McGowan on to finish it up. Honda CR-V, an IIHS top safety pick. Honda is the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
And the drive of the game is that long ball right there by Edwin Encarnacion. Great extension. He's just on fire right now. His second hit of a 3-hit game today, picking up 2 RBIs with that home run.
3 for 5. He scored a pair, drove in 4, and now Dustin McGowan will get in here and try to finish things off, punctuate this great homestand. Blue Jays looking to go 6-0 against the Rockies and the Orioles, and take this momentum on the road down to Tampa Bay. First of 3 tomorrow night.
With a big cushion, John Gibbons able to get 2 guys in the bullpen, both Perez and McGowan, who haven't thrown a lot during this streak. The bullpen's been outstanding, but it's been mostly the guys that are the role players late in the game, and getting them a chance to get some work, and that's always good for the team to have everybody fresh.
McGowan ahead 0-2. Chris Dickerson 2 for 3 this afternoon. He scored a run in the 7th inning. Everything has really worked out perfectly during this 11-game win streak naturally. But even the opportunity to get Perez and McGowan into a game here this afternoon, you finally get a big comfortable lead. And there haven't been many of them during the 11-game win streak.
No, they've all been close games, or at least situational games.
Dickerson strikes out.
Good sinker right there by Dustin McGowan to get a strikeout.
Blue Jays looking at an 11-game win streak, and if they win here this afternoon, and that would tie their longest win streaks in franchise history. They've done it twice, 1987 with Bell, Barfield, and Mosby, in 98 Carlos Delgado, Sean Green, big part of that team. And now Jose Bautista has put his mark on it, as has Munenori Kawasaki. Rajay Davis with the game winner on Friday night. J.P. Arencibia 3 hits this afternoon. Everybody playing a part of it. And don't you think that has an impact on bringing the team together, that everybody on this roster had made contributions?
No question about it. Just kind of tickled that you didn't mention any pitchers from the 87 or 98 teams. Of course, they didn't have anybody named Steve or anything like that in 87.
There's a drive to right, and this ball is gone. How about Ryan Flaherty?
Oh, who's this guy?
2 home runs this afternoon, 3 in the series. His 4th and 5th home runs of the season have come in his last 2 at-bats.
Well, he's hit 3 home runs in this series, and all have been fastballs. And he has really extended. He has not been known as a home run type hitter, but he's got such a nice, easy swing, a lot like Adam Lynn. And when the ball hits his bat out in front, it can jump.
Nate McLeod, he must be in a rush to get out of town. He swung it at first pitch about every at bat this afternoon. Orioles down to their final out. Manny Machado has doubled and singled in his last 2 at-bats. He's hit now in 28 of his last 32 games on the road. Looking for his 3rd hit of the afternoon. Blue Jay fans are looking for the 3rd out of the inning.
Just a lot of fun in downtown Toronto today. Fans appreciating what is taking place by the Blue Jays, coming out in big numbers, and they're going to give their last ounce of energy here.
Ball game. Machado strikes out. McGowan wraps it up in the 9th. The Blue Jays have swept a 6-game homestand for the first time since 2008, and they've tied their franchise record with their 11th straight win.
Well, Buck, I think you brought up a good point earlier. This is the kind of game that can really give them more momentum as they go down now on the road to play 7 more games against their own division, starting out in Tampa tomorrow night. They put a thumping offensively on the Orioles and set a statement to them that, hey, they're in this for keeps. And now everything's clicking, offense, defense, and pitching.
Blue Jays win at 13-5. They hit 2 more home runs this afternoon. Great series. Looking forward to Tampa Bay. Thanks for watching. We will see you tomorrow. Stay tuned. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn in the Blackberry Broadcast Studio.